Making a whole video about someone who doesn't want children or doesn't look forward to being married, what makes you think making a whole video about that is going to change their mind?
Hi lovelies, welcome back to another TikTok video. If you're new here, my name is Belinda Stronard and here is Belly's Stitches. Don't forget to please subscribe to this channel, turn on notifications so that anytime I upload a video, you will be the first person to be notified. And to my returning subscribers, thank you so much for all the love and support. To those people that share my videos, leave commentaries, you guys are the real MVP. Thank you so much for all the love and support. Alright lovelies, let's get into today's video. So lovelies, I came across this video on my For You page on TikTok where Candace Owen was actually came for because she came for women that decided not to have kids, like, child free by choice. There's this, TikToker who happens to be a podcaster. Her name is Amani. She talks about why she don't want to have kids and why she want to remain single and all of that. And kind of women have problem with it, and this actually got a lot of people talking, and I was able to put up some stage as well as the clip where she was try to cancel women who do not want to have kids and calling them selfish and all of that. Guys, I'm just gonna roll the clip as well as the videos. Please leave me your own thought in the comment section of what you think of this video, and just forget that this channel does not support any form of bullying, harassment or whatsoever. We're just here for educational purposes, guys. So please share this video, subscribe if you want to do that, and let's get into the video.
So y'all, why I hop online today, and the first thing I'm seeing are notifications from people saying, girl, Candace Owens is talking about you on her YouTube. I'm like, what? I love Candace Owens, so let me go see what she's talking about.
But we also are starting to see conversations and podcasters, a lot of women talking about why they simply don't want children. Here's a podcaster named Amani Wortham talking about just that. Take a listen.
When you think you have kids?
I'm not having kids.
What you mean you're not having kids?
I'm not having kids.
That's what you was born there to do.
No, I'm not.
Why would you not want to have kids?
Why would I?
Well, I think you can say at least Amani Wortham is honest. She's admitting to the fact that she is selfish and she wants her life to be about her.
Now, we all know that Candace Owens is very conservative, and conservatives and weird men love telling women what to do with their bodies, right? But my whole thing is, Candace, if having children is so great and that's the only purpose that you had in your life, why do you have your show? Oh, so being a mommy wasn't the only thing you wanted to do. Oh, okay, let's keep going.
But that's not all Amani has to say. She also holds a very derogatory view of men. Take a listen.
But what do you look for in a man?
I don't look for anything in a man. I don't look for a man.
Now it sounds like it's not only children that she doesn't want, but she doesn't even want to have a meaningful relationship. She holds a bad view of men altogether. We've seen this.
Are men good people? Okay, let's talk about it. Do they not make up the perpetrators of most domestic violence cases? Are they not the serial killers, the rapists? Let's really get into it. Do they not uphold patriarchy that is harmful to women and children every single day? Are they not the ones molesting children? Are they not the ones shooting up schools? But even knowing all that stuff, I still push for marriage for people because I know that healthy, positive relationships and marriages do still exist. So let's talk about that. Well, we don't even gotta talk about that. Let's get into what she said lastly.
And by the way, when you look at that clip of her, you can see that there is no internal joy coming out of her. This is not a happy woman that is speaking. I know it's supposed to be sold to you as this is INDEPE, independent woman. She's confident as well. No, none of those things are happening. What I'm sensing is actually a deep internal sadness.
Candy girl, I got joy every day of my life. I get to wake up and decide to do my day what I please every single day. I don't gotta do nothing that nobody tell me to do. I also have joy in my life because Jesus Christ died on the cross for me. Do you have joy in your life with your white husband? Okay, so let's focus on that. But you know what? Even though I said all that, I like Candace Owens. That's the crazy thing. I like Candace Owens. For real. And Candace Owens, if you're ever in the Atlanta area, I would absolutely love for you to guest on my podcast, on my Let's Talk It Out on my Patreon. I would love it. People would love it. I would love it. I think we would have more in common than what you think. I mean, if you don't agree with my content, that's one thing. But don't presume to act like you know who I am, saying, I see a very sad woman. Let's sit down and have a conversation that's so that you can form an educated opinion. Because anybody can say what they want on the internet, but let's not look crazy, okay? All right? So come on down to Atlanta. Amani Talks, I'll host you. It'll be a great conversation. People would love it.
Way to go, Candace. Way to use those shaming tactics to try to shame women into having children that they say they do not want to have. Let's just let women do what they want to do. If women want to have a family and have children, let's let them do that. If they say, no, I'm not participating in that activity, I don't want to, there's nothing about it that is attractive to me or that sounds good or would make me happy, let's just go with that. Why do we have to shame them? The fact that she's shaming these women that make a conscious decision not to become mothers is wild. Because if you remember back to when the Supreme Court was in the midst of making that decision regarding women's bodies and a woman's choice to choose, Candace was saying, it shouldn't be a problem for you. If you don't want to have a baby, there's many ways not to have a baby. If you don't want to be pregnant, all you have to do is abstain from activities that'll get you pregnant or just not get pregnant. Well, now that they put the ban in many states on a woman's right to choose, she's saying, if you don't get pregnant, you're selfish. If you don't want to have a man or a husband, you're selfish. That's crazy. Living your life the way you choose to live your life is not a problem. You are the only person that can tell yourself what's going to make you happy, what's going to fulfill your life. Furthermore, I was watching another Candace Owens video where Candace Owens talks about this lady that actually tried to go on a website to find someone to take her child out of the earth. And Candace was like, this is despicable. This is horrible. And yes, it absolutely is despicable and horrible. No woman should do that. But I would say that woman was a great candidate for not having children, for making the conscious decision to never birth a child into this world. It's better to not birth the child than birth the child and then do something crazy after the child gets here. So basically, Candace is a bunch of talking points. Ladies, please don't mind her. I don't care if you're conservative or liberal or whatever you are. If you're a woman, don't listen to Candace Owen. She's about this issue in particular. She is just doing way too much.
No, Candace, that's you. I don't ever see you have a genuine smile. All I see you do is go on these miserable rants all damn day. Life has way more to offer women nowadays than being a mother and being stuck in the damn house. You drop that baby first, and then you see how it is.
When you look at that,
This is the issue that I have a bit with Candace. Don't get me wrong, I watch her, she's very entertaining. But when we see children who are being abused and who are being neglected emotionally, physically, and financially, we sit there and usually go along with the lines of they don't deserve children. This is a good example that not everyone deserves to have children. My thing is, why does it have to get to the point to bring children to make these statements? I do believe that bad people are going to have children regardless. It's very hard to spot them in millions and millions of people. And I'm not sitting here and saying that the creator that she is responding to, Candace, thinks that she's going to be a terrible mother. But people do not understand how much self-awareness, reflection, and maturity it takes to make a decision to say, children are not for me. You give up being selfish. And though that is viewed as a positive thing, people forget that it eats you up in the inside and you lose an identity of yourself because you are putting so much time and attention to something else that isn't you. And that's where moms forget to take care of themselves. It takes a lot of maturity and acknowledging that motherhood just wouldn't be a good fit for you, knowing that, you know, you probably wouldn't give your 100% to a kid. And I understand why she would promote all women to be mothers. Candace, you're rich, babe. You're able to afford 4 or 5 children. And I don't think this would be the last pregnancy that we see from you. Her baby that's freshly a newborn, by the way, may I add, is probably in the hands of a nanny or a family member. Some women don't have that. We know it's a financial, draining of someone's pocket to even have a child. Don't get me wrong, I find fulfillment just like Candace in being a mom. But I became a young mom. I became a mom in literally last year. I'm in my early 20s. Of course I find purpose and fulfillment, but a part of me still thinks and feels, and those feelings are valid, that damn, I could have done more. I'm not sitting here and saying that children are a burden, but they make life difficult. Your whole schedule in life is on that kid. Traveling with them in the scary world is just not for everybody. It's very reckless. I saw an interview once of a mom who went on a podcast and said, if I could turn back the time and not have my kids, I would. Because some women are not built for motherhood. I love my kid. I would not change a thing. To sit there and like call a woman saying that, oh, she's sad. She's so sad because she doesn't have kids. Again, it makes sense, Katniss, that you find fulfillment in being a mom. I'm not sitting here and diminishing her role as a mom, but the fact that you're rich, able to afford daycare and nannies, you're able to go on college campuses and talk and give speech, have a podcast, do any businesses outside of that, videos and everything that is in between. How do you have the time to do that? You are able to have the time because you are able to pay for time. Unlike me, I have to find the time. You get to enjoy being a mom at the best moments at times because you get to be able to do your makeup every day, do your hair, do your maintenance, do things that find more purpose in your life, like your podcast and talking to college campuses and trying to make a difference. Some moms do not have that, so it just makes sense that you would promote motherhood to everyone because your life is great. If you want kids, great. If you don't want kids, great.
Well, actually, every time I see a video of Candace talking, she looks fucking miserable. Like, you can just see it in the depths of her soul. But she tries very, very hard. Number one, to be politically correct every time she speaks in those videos. And number two, tries very hard to seem happy. On another note, what makes y'all think, whether you're that dude that was on the podcast with her, or you Candace Owen, what makes you think that making a whole video about someone who doesn't want children or doesn't look forward to being married, what makes you think making a whole video about that is going to change their mind? Like, even for the men that are constantly online complaining and saying, oh, you're just going to die alone and with 10 cats, what makes you think that that's going to deter me from doing what I love to do, which is being left the fuck alone? Like, if anything, it only even amplifies our beliefs that y'all ain't shit. So why even be around y'all? Why even have you in my vicinity? Look, 2024, y'all need to start worrying about y'all own vaginas. Y'all need to start worrying about y'all own ovaries. Y'all need to start worrying about y'all own bodies and what you doing with yourself. Okay? Because nothing you come and say on this internet about anybody else's choices with their life or their personal bodily autonomy is gonna make them change what they're doing. Motherfuckers is gonna do what they want, bitch. And I follow this beautiful young lady for quite some time now, and every single one of her videos, whether she's reading a motherfucker to fill on a podcast or whether she's just making a cute video in her bathroom, she looks like she's living the life. Girl, look at her with no makeup, looking good. She don't look depressed. She don't look sad. On the other hand, Candace Owens, I don't know when I've ever seen you without makeup in a video. You know, you gotta make sure your makeup artist, gets up under them dark eye circles, them under eye circles and shit, because you be tired. You be tired of being in everybody else's business, bitch.
So, lovelies, in as much as Candace Owens have her own, point of view, trying to, explain why she felt that some of these women that chose not to have kids are being selfish or people that don't want to share the love, and I also want to suggest that there are a lot of women who are out there who chose something for themselves, and they should be held accountable for what they actually want to do with their life without no one actually judging them. You decided to have kids, get married, and build your life. Doesn't mean that a lot of people want this kind of life for themselves. This life does not mean that everyone should do exactly or emulate what you did. Or a lot of people have to pass this phrase of life, like when they give birth to you, you have to give birth to someone else. Like when you are mothered by a mother, and this mother was able to take care of you, send you to school, high school, and you are of age, you decided to that you are supposed to do the same thing to the next generation. So I'm just trying to figure it out, the way she's trying to project all of this. But God, at those days whereby so many women want to pass through what our mothers has passed through, or so many women want to become this traditional women, like this traditional wife, going to school after you must have had one degree, which is enough for a woman, a normal typical woman. Then you just end up giving birth, getting married and giving birth, raising kids. There are a lot of women that actually don't want to live that kind of life. That doesn't mean that a lot of these traditional women do not continue to have their careers, build their careers and all of that. But there are a lot of women who do not want to pass that phase of life. I actually spoke about this at my last video, which I posted yesterday, concerning concerning a man that was actually trying to comfort women that is working class women who do not want to get themselves involved with partners or get married or having children. That he went as far as saying that when they click to 40 years to some certain age, which will be 2030, that they will be so lonely, miserable and alone. This is something I also want to project here. A lot of women, this life have been changing, and it has continued changing, and it will continue changing. A lot of women don't actually want to be these traditional women we used to have days back. A lot of women don't want to pass through what our parents passed through. A lot of marriages now does not even last just the way it lasts during the days, during our forefathers, our fathers, and our parents and grandparents and all of that. I think people are just getting civilized on their own. People are just getting to live this life for themselves and not for anyone else. I wouldn't call this thing being selfish. I call it being something that you feel that this is something that you cannot do, and when you are forced to do this, you might end up regretting it. There are a lot of parents today who sometimes they become so bitter in afterlife. They become so okay, because of you I could have achieved this. Because of I was just home taking care of you, I could have been there, I could have been there, I could have achieved this. They often blame their kids of their failure. Some parents are like that, they blame their kids of their failure without realizing that they actually chose that path. Their kids never begged them to have them. I don't know if you guys understand that there are some parents of today, sometimes they blame their kids of not achieving some certain things. If you're not, because I took in for you, I have to raise you, I could have been in a social position right now. So some of these women do not want to do this to their kids. I believe this is what I'm just trying to understand. So some of these women doesn't want to do this to their kids, so they decided, okay, instead of me to not to, because some people want to achieve pursuing their career and just being on their own, living their own life, rather than having pregnant, training or taking care of kids. These are just two ways of life. You might want to choose to raise children, have husband, have a family. That doesn't mean that an individual B want that kind of life for herself. So in my own belief, people should be allowed to choose the kind of life they actually want to live. You shouldn't force people to live a life that you projected for them, or a life that you felt that, okay, he or she is supposed to live this kind of life as a normal human being, or as a woman, or as no, you shouldn't do that to human. You shouldn't do. You see, we are in a generation whereby anyone should do whatever they felt that their soul pleases. I think it will make a lot of people not to regret or being bitter, or try to blame somebody for your misfortune. Like, if you chose this kind of life for yourself, and you think it truly that you want this kind of life for yourself, and in the long run something happened, in the long run you are not going to blame anybody. You are going to blame yourself for the kind of life you chose. So you trying to come into people's life, trying to tell them that, oh my God, you doing this kind of thing means you are selfish. If you feel that she is selfish, that should be on your own. Like, you should just feel that way. You should just feel that way for yourself. The person that is doing that feels that this is something that I find it comfortable doing, I find it relaxing doing, and I could just do whatever I want to do. Seriously, this is what I see it. You cannot force people to be a mother. After being a mother, they won't be a parent. Like, they won't be able to parent well. That's why we have a lot of people that cannot even parent well. Like, seriously. Like, I'm just trying to say that people should be allowed to do whatsoever their soul pleases, without being forced, or without being labeled, oh my God, you are so bad. No, people should be allowed to do whatever they want to do. Because in the long run, if it works out for them, fine. If it doesn't work out for them, still fine. They are not going to blame anybody for their misfortune. They are not going to blame anybody for anything. They say that the way you actually make your bed is so you're going to lie it. So if you want to be a mom, a wife, have kids and all of that, it's totally okay. That is a part of life you chose for yourself. That is a way of life you chose for, and it's so beautiful to have family. It's so wonderful to come home and see your kids running around like your mini me. It's so beautiful. And if you also choose not to have kids, you just want to come home, your house is already made, everything is just perfect, just the way you left it, it's also a good life. So this thing is just too beautiful life. It's all depends on the kind of one you want to choose for yourself. So if you want to choose A or B, it's all depends. They're all too beautiful life. There is no one that is better than the other. Seriously. Because at the end of the day, your children grows up, then you end up still being alone. I don't know if you guys can still reason it. So it all depends on, at least when you have a baby, okay, and you have people. But when you don't have people. And at the end of the day, you that have people might even end up being alone. After, when your babies are grown, having their own children, they don't even have time to come see you anymore. It's all about phone. So I don't just know why we're all dragging all of this. People should just live their life the way they want to live their life. Anyways, lovelies, why not just leave me your own in the comment section of what you think of this video. And do not forget that this channel does not support any form of bullying, harassment, or whatsoever. It is here for educational purposes, guys. So please share this video, subscribe to my channel if you've not done that already, and I will see you, lovelies, when I upload my next video.